Okay, I'm going to just kind of give my vibe. And I don't know how accurate this vibe is, but doing the Daily Show, obviously very, very involved in a lot of Laker conversations and everything else. The vibe I get when Austin Reaves' name comes up, and I don't know if this is just the masses that are, people who are usually louder when they have something negative to say over somebody who's got something positive to say. What's the saying? The saying is, if you go to a restaurant and you have a positive experience, you tell one person. If you have a negative experience, you tell 10 people. That's just kind of comes with, go watch the news. The news is always on negativity rather than positivity. Austin Reaves did not have a good playoff run. And he's been a big part of the conversation of, well, what should the Lakers do with Austin Reaves? Eventually, he's going to be making $25-30 million a year. That's just going to happen. And that's going to happen starting next year, not this upcoming year, the following year. The vibe I'm getting from a lot of Laker fans is you got to move on from this guy. What's your take on Reaves? And do you agree that a lot of Laker fans' vibe is Reaves? It was fun while it lasted. We can't have you with Luka in the backcourt, and we got to use you to go get a big. Is that the vibe that you get as well?
It depends on the trade market because, I think you could get a Nick Claxton, a guy, maybe a second-tier center, not for Austin Reaves. I think that's manageable. Again, with the Mavs not taking all the picks, having a first-round pick to trade and multiple pick swaps, you could get something done while keeping Austin Reaves. I think it's easy to get overreactionary, and I would keep Austin Reaves unless the goal is we're not gonna pay him going forward. We're not there's no shot. Instead of just letting him walk out the door next year, I think if that's the case, he'd be very valuable at the deadline. Austin Reaves had a terrible series. He was awful, but let's not forget that a month before then, everyone's like, "Is he the best third star in the league?" That was the conversation when he dropped 45 on Indiana. He was carrying him and LeBron when Luka was hurt after they traded Anthony Davis. The reason they were even able to get to that number 3 seed. So it's like we take one series and he was bad, and there's no excuses for it. I know they came out with the toe injury, but everyone's has an injury at that time of year. I think it'd be a massive mistake. I think that they need to, if they improve the roster, there'd be a real thought to, and I know some people are going to go, well, he makes too much money, you can't bring him off the bench. Austin Reaves would be 6th man of the year. If you're really that worried about Luka and Austin Reaves being on the floor together, which I get because neither really plays that much defense, if you brought Austin Reaves off the bench and got a little length in your lineup and was able to kind of go more defense and let Luka do his thing with the starters and let kind of Reaves spell him, he would destroy a second unit, and you wouldn't have these problems with the 1-2 guard spot where you can't guard anybody. But so if some unbelievable package came along, you got to listen to it. But I don't think we need a reactionary trade Reaves because he had a bad series and his value might be a little diminished right now.
Yeah, I think a couple things. Number one, I was always a fan of. I did think that there was. I wanted to see Dorian Finney-Smith in the backcourt with Luka. I thought that was the right backcourt to have, and I knew the Lakers wouldn't do it, but I did think Reaves coming off the bench was he's still going to play 30-plus minutes. Nobody was saying you're going to take those minutes away. I think the question that comes up with Reaves now is based on the assets that you have, based on the fact that you're trying to build around Luka, based upon how do you put together the proper roster. It's kind of ironic. The Lakers actually, with Anthony Davis, had put together a really good roster. It just felt like the pieces were there. I'm not saying they're going to go win a championship. They probably, are not representing the way. I'm not saying that. But you had your center. You had, everybody knew their role, their positions. Okay, you make the trade, and now you're trying to figure out, all right, what exactly do you do with the roster? AR might be the only piece that you can actually significantly improve from a center spot. His agent came out a couple days ago and said something to the effect of, second string centers, people talking about trading him for second string centers. I don't think anybody's saying that. I think people are just saying that, can you get a real piece that makes sense with Luka as you kind of start this rebuilding process? I'm a fan of the AR off the bench. The question's going to be if you start paying him $30 million a year, can you really have AR come off the bench?
I understand that. And again, if there's a massive center that moves the needle, a Bam Adebayo. I'm just throwing a name out there. Someone, obviously Giannis is in a different stratosphere, but that would be a huge package. Like then I'm with it. But just getting him off the team in just because he had a bad series, there was a lot of players on that team that had a bad series. I mean, a lot. So, and I know that expectations come with it. He's about to get the big contract, and he's extremely tradable right now because of the contract. He's probably one of the best valued contracts in the NBA right now, considering what he gets paid versus the value he gives you. But I just feel like it'd be a little bit of a shame. He was really starting to come into his own the back half of that season to just deal him right now and watch him go be a star somewhere else.
Well, there's also I think they're two completely different players, but there's how much regret from Laker fans on Alex Caruso, right? Watching him do what he's doing, but now he's got a specific role.
Josh
right?
Hart.
Josh Hart is and listen, I know some of these trades happen over time, and it's kind of is what it is. The Alex Caruso piece, that one's tougher to taste because he wanted to be a Laker, was willing to take less money to stay with the Lakers, and the Lakers still said no. So I think not every player is created equal. But we'll see obviously what that means down the road. All right. Yeah. And the reason why I say it, so I put out a video, Lou Williams does that show, the FanDuel TV show. And Lou Williams had basically said, like, look, they don't need AR anymore. They need a big. And I took that clip and I did kind of my own video on it. And the comments that are on there are so many people that are basically like, I agree with Lou Williams. They don't need AR anymore. They do need a big. You got to build around Luka. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting in regards to Laker fans. And I got to be honest, I don't completely disagree, but I go back to what you said. It's got to be the right player. It's got to be the right center. It's got to be somebody that is significant, that you feel like, hey, AR's got talent. AR's got value. So you can't just give up AR for, obviously a player that doesn't make sense. But I'm probably holding on to Austin Reaves this summer, and I'm making a decision closer to the trade deadline than I am. If you don't think you could put together a deal with Austin Reaves, then by the trade deadline, maybe then is when, and you're kind of seeing where the team is and what does the team look like if you actually address getting a big and some size by the time, next season starts, then I'm making a decision from there.
I would really like to see Luka brings the ball up, but what this team really hasn't had, and they need the center, they need 3-and-D wing defenders. That's, 1 and 2. I think they really need a veteran and point guard. Not that it needs to be some superstar, some guy past his prime, someone to literally bring the ball up. Because we saw a lot when Luka wasn't on the floor, no one could bring the ball up. I mean, Gabe Vincent can't bring the ball up. Dorian Finney-Smith can't bring the ball up.
No, teams were pressuring guys like Reaves like crazy.
Right, Reaves can't. Reaves can create for himself, but he's not some distributor. I would like to see the rest of this team with a legit veteran point guard who can at least distribute a little bit. And I think Reaves, we know Luka's going to explode, but these guys could really fit in well. I think that's kind of a underrated piece going into next year.
All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.